Good morning, folks. So here we are on the 9th of October. We have finished our week-long kaiju classification project at this point. And so now we're going to take all of that knowledge, that practice, and that understanding that we developed over this last week, and we're going to put it into our shark identification lab. So that is our goal for today, and I'd like to show you how we're going to do that. So first, pop over to our Schoology page. And of course, we're still in Unit 1, but we're almost done with it. Remember, next week is your test coming up on Thursday. I need to adjust the dates. But we're right here, finishing up with our assignment number 6, the Shark Biological Key Lab. So when you click on this, it will open up your PDF that will look something like this. This is the Shark Lab. So it talks about classification and the importance of using the characteristics. Now, you are first going to make a hypothesis right here in this blank. It says, make a hypothesis to describe how sharks can be identified using a key. I'll make this real simple for you. Either you are going to say that using a key, we can identify the sharks, or using a key, we cannot identify the sharks. Those are really the two testable options. Now, this at the bottom, this is your Bible when it comes to the Shark Lab and knowing what part is what. So lots of people know what the dorsal fin is. Not everybody knows that there is a second dorsal fin. People know there are gills, but they don't necessarily know that then the first bottom fin is the pectoral, then the pelvic, then the anal. And a lot of people know that there is a tail fin, but they don't know the scientific term for that, which is a caudal fin. It's also important to know that for most sharks, the mouth is what we call back along the underside. So it's not right at the front. It's not right here at the nose of the shark. It's back along the underside of its head. It would be like us if our mouth was down here underneath our chin. That's kind of how their head is structured. So you're going to be coming back to this diagram again and again and again, because everything talks about these characteristics, and they give you all of them right here. In fact, a great idea, so that you don't need to flip back and forth, is to pause this video while this is up, and then use that as reference while you do the lab. But moving on. So here are the 14 sharks that you're going to identify. Each one is numbered with a blank. And you are going to use this biological key in order to determine which one each shark is. Now, there are a couple of things that are good to note here. Number one, you're never going to identify the same shark twice, which means that once it's been identified once, you could effectively cross off the name because no other shark will share that name. Each one only shows up once. But the plan is pretty simple. Just like we did with the kaiju and the titans, we start at number 1A and 1B, whichever one is true, you follow that. So I want to do the first two sharks together so that everybody gets that same idea. So here is shark number 1. If you did not know, stingrays are a member of the shark family. So we're looking at this guy here. Try to keep in mind what he looks like. And 1A says body kite-like in shape if viewed from above. And 1B says body not kite-like in shape. Well, that's pretty easy. Looking at it, yeah, it looks like a kite. So according to body kite-like in shape, we're going to go now to statement 12. So we go all the way down here to 12. So small dorsal fin present near tip of tail, or small dorsal fin absent near tip of tail. So we go back up, we look down near the end of the tail. Is there a fin? It looks to me like there is. So the dorsal fin is present near the tip of the tail. So dorsal fin present near tip of tail, family Ragidae. You don't have to write down family. You could just write down Ragidae, and that would be fine. All right, so we've identified one shark. Shark number one is Ragidae. Let's take a look at number two then. Number two is going to be a much longer process. This, if you don't know it, is a thresher shark. Super cool. They use this tail like a bullwhip, and they'll swim into a pack of fish really fast, and then they'll just whip that tail back and forth like crazy. And it's so long and it's so like rough and strong that any fish that it hits, it'll break spinal cords, it'll kill the fish, it'll crush bones, and it just leaves them injured and unable to get away. And then the thresher shark swings around and gobbles up the injured fish. It's really, really neat. But let's identify now its scientific name, part of its binomial nomenclature. So keep in mind this shape. Number one, is the body kite-like in shape or body not kite-like? Well, the body is not kite-like, so we're going to go to statement two. Is a pelvic fin absent and the nose is saw-like, or is the pelvic fin present? Well, we come up here. The pelvic fin is the second fin right here. He's got it. The nose is not saw-like. So the pelvic fin is present. Go to statement three. Does he have 6 gills or 5 gills? Come back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 5 gills. 5 gills present. Go to statement four. 1 dorsal fin or 2 dorsal fins? He has 2 fins on his back, 2 dorsal fins. So go to statement 5. Is the mouth at the front of the head rather than back along the underside like most sharks? Or is the mouth back along the underside of the head? So is it right at the nose or is it under his eye? It's under his eye. So his mouth is back along the underside of the head. Go to 6. Is the head expanded with eyes at the end of the expansions, or is the head not expanded? No, head looks normal to me. So it's not expanded. We will go to 7. Is the top half of the caudal fin the exact same size and shape as the bottom half? Or is the top half of the caudal fin different in size and shape from the bottom half? Remember, the caudal fin is the tail fin. I would say the top half of this is very much different. It is not identical to this little bottom half there. So the top half is different in size and shape. Go to statement 8. Is the first dorsal fin very long, almost half the total length of the body? Or is the first dorsal fin much less than half the total length of body? Now, a lot of people make the mistake here because they're looking for a long fin that says long fin and they go with it. But it's the first dorsal fin. His is not half his body length. So the first dorsal fin is much less than half the total length of body. Go to 9. Is the caudal fin very long, almost as long as the entire body? Or is the caudal fin length much less than the entire body? Now, this is what we've been looking for the whole time, right? That's the characteristic that makes this shark stand out, that gives it something unique. The caudal fin is very long, almost as long as the entire body. And you can see that right here, comparing this distance to that distance. So we know the second shark is Elopidae. Now, that'll be the first part of this lab. Identify all 14 sharks. As you go, it will get quicker and quicker because you'll eliminate more and more families, and that's going to leave you fewer steps that you actually need to read through. So, for instance, once you identify Prispophoridae here, the pelvic fin is absent and the nose is saw-like, you can kind of skip this one because there's no longer a reason to read it. You've already identified that. Anything that says go to 2, you could go straight to 3. So it will speed up as you go. You're then going to have some questions. What is the classification key and how is it used? It uses the characteristics to identify step by step. That's the key. List 4 characteristics that were used in the shark key. All you got to do is look up here, pick 4. Now, number 3, A and B always give people some trouble. Which is the main characteristic that could be used to distinguish or tell the difference between shark 4 and shark 8? Here is shark 8 right here. Here is shark 4 up there. All you want to do is you got to look for something that one of them has that the other one doesn't. That's your key. And then 3B is actually a little bit harder. What's the difference between shark 4 and shark 7? Well, shark 4 is the same one here. Shark 7 is right here. In order to figure this one out, they have all the same fins. They have the same number of gills. They have the same placement of the mouth. So in order to figure out 3B, you're going to have to look back into this biological key and see where is the split that identifies one of them, but not the other one. All right, so that will be your questions here. Then you're going to make up your own biological key for these 5 fish. And these are just identified as fish 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, once again, set it up just like we did with the Godzilla Titans. Look through them, identify one with a unique trait that only it has. We identify if it has that trait here, then it's one fish. If it doesn't have that trait, go to 2. And then at number 2, with the 4 remaining fish, pick out one with a unique trait, identify it. The ones who don't have that, go to 3. Now, if you want, you are welcome to use this one. This is their example, and kind of like I provided an example that you can use. You can also use number 1 here in order to start your identification. And once you're done with that, your last thing for the lab is check your hypothesis. Did your hypothesis describe the key correctly? Did you predict what was going to happen? Yes or no? Ladies and gentlemen, that is the Shark Lab. It is a time-consuming lab. It takes some work to get through. So I hope that this helps. Use this as a reference to go back to whichever part of the lab that you need, and hopefully I have gone over something that will aid you. And if not, pop back into class. Let me know. Shoot me a message on Schoology. Next week, on Tuesday and Wednesday, we will be reviewing for our first unit test. Wednesday will be our first unit test, our first big test of the year. So please go back, use that quick method, little 5-minute study sessions, just a couple times a day. Rewrite your notes with the important terms the first time you go through, and then after that, reread them. Just do that repetition. I guarantee to you, if you do this, it will help. All right. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope to see you. And I can't explain why my camera just decided to shut off. Okay. See you later.